Inspector Mark Bleasdale. I've got responsibility for communities and partnerships in Carmarthenshire Police Division, but I was first involved with Tidy Towns towards the end of 2008 in Pembrokeshire, where I had the same role. And I've been asked just to try to give a police perspective of where Tidy Towns has fitted into the to the confidence agenda, how the public is supposed to be feeling a little safer about how authorities are looking after their services and their environment. And I suppose the answer to that is quite simple. Over the last 3 years, and Tidy Towns is part of that, as well as neighbourhood policing, across the 3 western counties in Wales, crime has been falling and has fallen significantly across the board by about, varies between 25 and 30%. Reported antisocial behaviour as well has fallen by a little bit less. Figures are around about 15-20% across the 3 counties year on year, or the total for the 3 years is around about 30%. And I suppose what we're doing is we're asking ourselves is how is that happening? And I think it's happening because of a number of initiatives and a number of ways that we're doing things that have been a little bit different in the past. And this is where, for me, Tidy Towns has fitted into it, in the neighbourhood policing teams' local pact meetings have quite often identified some of those areas that Tidy Towns and the local authority and the local community already knew about, and has actually pulled together and focused those resources that Tidy Towns can bring to it on particular areas, those areas that need a quick tidy up, and that fits into the litter picks, and that has been organised by the school, and those where there's been the need to spend some money and actually change an environment that has caused a problem around antisocial behaviour. Again, I don't know, sorry if I missed any evaluation there or formal evaluation that you've done. I just get that reported back to me through the neighbourhood policing team, certainly in those 2 counties that I've worked in. And I think it, certainly for those of you who want to speak, catch Tom afterwards, because Tom's in the middle of that, and he's that local link to communities, because certainly in the 2 areas that I'm talking about, there has always been that strong sense of community, trying to get partners to work together. And I think from a police perspective, we've that support from Tidy Towns and local authorities to get these things done, and they're very visible and tangible, aren't they? And I think that's what people see that as something that's long lasting, that's been done in almost. I'm sure you're happy that you've done that in almost every community in three counties that we're talking about here today. It was very interesting, the bit that you mentioned there right at the end, because this is my personal standpoint in it, is actually is changing the way a lot of our future citizens start to think. I mean, I happen to, I won't bore you with the story, but I grew up in another country, and there, as a 5 or 6 year old, we were in schools, we were taught about dropping litter, picking litter up. If you see something that's untidy, how you report it. Now, I've never forgotten that, and I won't tell you how many years ago it was. And I know from later on coming to school, and certainly my younger brothers, that wasn't something that they were taught and told in schools. So, although it's not certainly a police perspective, I think that a big part of Tidy Towns is getting into schools and explaining to young children, what it is about, why it is important that litter isn't left about, that we pick up litter and that we live in pleasant and safe environments, and how you can damage that environment by being a little bit careless. So I see that going on, and I see that as probably the most exciting bit, and probably will be the legacy, depending on how funding works for years to come. And that's about it really, as far as I'm concerned. I suppose I still see there are bits to do, because I talk about that sort of that littered environment, and I still see when I'm not working and my son's playing football on a community park or on a school ground, and why is it there's only 2 of the parents that will go and pick up all the broken cans and glass and things like that, and think, well, just carry a bag full of rubbish and put away in the bin properly, is that. And maybe once we work with those children for 10, 15 years time, once they're adults, and we'll see that, and we'll actually get rid of that, because that to me is just anti and dangerous. So that's about it really from me as far as the police perspective. I think it's been an exciting couple of years. Long may the funding continue.